Happy Wednesday. Oh my gosh, sorry. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I am Regina Lena, and I am super stoked to have all of you here with us today. I am your host, as mentioned, of the Pageant Sit Down, and I am joined, of course, with my co-host, Elizabeth. Hi, Liz.
Hi, Regina. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome. I can't believe it's already episode 108.
That's crazy. It feels like just yesterday you were starting this all up. So 108 is really exciting.
It's wild. It's wild. What I think is even more crazy is when our guests come on and they're like, "We've been watching all of your shows and we love it." And that was that was something that our guests actually did right before we went on.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool because sometimes you forget that people are actually watching this. So thank you for everyone who's tuning in, watching it live, and also the replay. We appreciate you checking in on the Pageant Sit Down.
We do. And speaking of, I know Janice McGregor is in the chats. She is saying, "Can't wait to watch this." Hello, Janice. We haven't seen you in the chats live in a while, so welcome back. And if anyone else is tuning in, if you have any questions for Liz or myself or our guest, make sure you leave the comments down below and we will be reading them live for you.
All right, so I guess we should just get started. We should welcome our guest today. Everyone, please welcome the Miss Exquisite Global United 2022, Hunyah Irfan. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Regine. I'm good.
Hi.
We're good.
Great. Welcome to the Pageant Sit Down, from one talk show host to another.
Thank you. And
You're welcome.
I see, like, you guys you interview a lot of people, and I was like, I just have to be on this. I think this is like the mainstream for title holders. It's the channel for mainstream for pageant.
Thank you.
You're too kind. You're too kind. Honestly, I don't see it that way, but when people do say stuff like that and your kind words, it just makes, I guess, me realize how much of an impact this show has had on people. And it literally was just a conversation between Liz and I where I was like, should I don't know. And here we are, 108 episodes later. Hunyah, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. And 108, that's an achievement. That's
it is.
Yeah,
it is. We're aiming for 200, but baby steps, one episode at a time. And Hunyah, I know you, myself, and Liz, we've all connected on social media, and I'm sure that you've connected with a lot of other of our viewers online as well. But for those who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Hunyah. I'm Miss Exquisite Global United 2022. But besides being a pageant queen, there's a lot of things I do. I am a content creator, an author, a chef, a stand-up comedian, an entrepreneur, and I compete in pageants, poetry competitions, and entrepreneur competitions. So there's a lot that I do. And I'm also a student at University of Toronto doing community service studies right now.
Oh my gosh. So when do you have time to do all of this?
I don't know. It's like I need during the day. I do need like about 1 or 2 hours time to have some time to re-energize and for self-care. But then I just manage based on prioritizing or based on whatever is more important to attend. So that's how I manage. And it was most of the things were actually an opportunity for me because of COVID, because I couldn't commute to all those places, and fortunately it happened to be online, so I was able to tackle all of these tasks and get to where I want.
That's amazing. I'm going to jump to the chats really quickly. 1 second. Janice says, you can't retire at episode 200. We'll try not to. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. You should go to 300, 400.
We're going to keep going as long as we can. I feel like the only way we can get to that is if we did an episode every day. But
you'll get there.
Yeah, we will. Well, Hunyah, I want to ask, so you mentioned that we said it at the top of the show that, from one talk show host to another. Can you tell us how yours came about?
Well, my show began in 2021. That time it was just like an idea, just like the way how the show started. So I wanted to do something more with my YouTube channel than just do recipe videos and food reviews. So I figured out I've been attending a lot of different trainings online, and I want to connect with the people. And most of them had really amazing things going on, businesses, and some of them were emerging YouTubers, like the way how I'm like myself right now as an emerging artist. So I figured out I can't collaborate with those people in person, but what I could do is I could use Zoom, and I can create my own show to collaborate. And that's how I began interviewing all of these people I got to know through training sessions, through college, and all these different places. And after that, I started having like 2 streams. And where the Hunyah show Queen to Queen came is like when I was doing Miss Exquisite Global United. Actually, it was in 2022, and I was like, because my platform is mental health awareness, because I want to break the negative stigma around mental health, because if people there's still a negative stigma around that it's okay not to be okay. And there's still things around that, even in South Asian community. But I guess it's like it's every community. If you see like if you go into like depending on where your training is, because I've noticed that it's like often people have stereotypes. So I figured out, why don't I do a talk show, and I continue with the same name, but I just call it Queen to Queen, and I interview different pageant queens. And so I began with Global United Queens. And then for me, the achievement was actually when I interviewed Lily, who's Miss Achievement Canada 2023. And it's like, having like different title holders in there. And then that's how it began. And now there's like 2 streams that I do. So it's like, one is like for local businesses, that's the Hunyah show, and then the other one is called the Hunyah show Queen to Queen, that's for like title holders. That's how it began.
That's so awesome.
I was gonna say, like with pageants, like you said, you have your business aspect and pageant aspect. What kind of drew you to pageantry in the first place? I know you mentioned it was kind of COVID related, but tell us a bit more about your start in your pageant journey.
Well, my pageant journey actually began when I was a kid, when I was like a little toddler. My mom put me into a photo contest, and there I had won as a cutest baby. So that's how I started. That was like in 1993. It's like really, really old. I still have the picture of it now, but I don't know where it is. And then in about 2016, there was Miss All Canadian pageants. So I actually signed up for a photo contest there. That time I didn't know that was called. There was a difference between photo contests and pageants. And then I had won as Miss Photogenic in there. Then what actually got me into pageants eventually was around COVID, is because I noticed that there was a lot of title holders around festivals, around the communities that happened throughout the year. And I was like, I want to give it this try. I know I'm a content creator, but I feel like if I go into pageants, I can do something more. So that's what got me into pageantry. And my live in-person one was actually City of Brampton pageant, which I actually had to leave 1 month before its finals because of something, and because it was too hard to tackle with my post grad and whatever I was doing. So it was hard to tackle. But anyways, I eventually started doing virtual pageants instead, and I actually found virtual pageants work for me because it's accessible. It's through your laptop. It's through your phone. It's like it gives you more options. Whereas in live pageants, I felt like it was hard to commit to. But it's like not that there's anything I have like against that or anything. It's like I felt like it didn't suit me. But whatever, like I feel like I did in a virtual pageant, I can relate to that to a person doing live pageant, and I feel like it's the same thing. It's just it depends on wherever place you're comfortable at. So it's like I would love to do a virtual. I would love to do a live pageant if I had the option to, but I don't know when. But for now, it's like virtual pageants just work for me, and that's how I feel like I got my niche towards interviewing and hosting my own show, and also working towards pageant coaching business, which I actually want to start now after my other business that I do, that is an online secondhand thrift store, which gives back to the community. But so that's like something I'm looking into because of pageants, and I've actually seen myself grow so much because of virtual pageants. Like I'm on like the City of Brampton Heritage Board. I'm on a gender-based violence board with one of the organizations, and I'm also in a few other different kinds of organizational boards as well. And the way how it gave me exposure, and I want to like continue in there. Like I also want to coach, but I also want to continue in pageants. So I've actually seen myself like grow from pageants.
Absolutely. Wow. I mean, you have a lot under your belt. It's very impressive. how are you able to manage this? I'm sure you hear this all the time, but what tips do you have for someone who's trying to juggle all these things, especially in the pageant world?
I would say go for what is convenient, because from my personal experience, live pageant didn't suit me, but it's like virtual pageants did, because I feel like there was more time given. And on top of that, I would say that try to balance pageant work and life in a way that whoever you're working with, or whoever, like even if you're like studying, like just let your teacher go, or your professor know, or let your employer know that okay, you have a pageant coming up, so they know that okay, you need some time to work on a certain task, and they will give you that time. Because that's what I've noticed every time when I spoke to any of the people that I work with right now, when it comes to different boards and stuff, they're like, okay, yes, you know that we need some time, so you have that time, and then once you're done, you can just come back and do the rest of the task, and it works out.
Awesome. It seems like you have a very supportive group of a village, essentially, of people who understand that this is your passion. You need just this me time, essentially. And I love that they're able to support you, because not everyone has that. I could tell you there are some people who don't see pageantry as something that you can take time off work from. So I think it's great that they support you.
Yeah, because I think it's better to inform that okay, this is like this is where I need time in, and if you ever need some clearance with like some clarification with something, then you should just go to them and just like ask for clarification. Like that's what I do.
Totally.
Awesome.
So I guess we can move a little bit outside of pageants. What do you do outside of working on your title, doing appearances, working on your social media stuff associated with pageants? It sounds like you have a very busy life. What do you do when you're not a title holder?
When I'm not a title holder, well, I love cooking, I love traveling, and I also do stand-up comedy as well. So I still haven't done my live stand-up comedy performance yet, but I have done my first paid gig. So that was actually in March. So it was actually pretty good. Like although it was online, so that was pretty good. Other than that, I worked as a researcher and an administrative assistant for most of my work experience. And I volunteered different community events like for a really, really long time. So I'm always involved with the community. So, but mostly a project with Peel Food Action Council in 2021 that was to do with Peel Food Security report, and it was like really interesting. That was my first time being a researcher. So it's like we would like interview different community members and on their approach towards food insecurity, and food insecurity has grown a lot over the years. That's also one thing too. The other thing is I worked on 2 cybersecurity projects based on helping a client with their website in order to secure it for as a new business, and also as analyzing cybersecurity centers internationally and Canadian cybersecurity centers, and just like overall like what needs to be in and what has to be done with the cybersecurity in Canada. So that's what I work on.
Wow.
So that's pretty much what I do.
I feel like, when you're a kid and there was like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And like, you'll list a bunch of random things. I feel like Hunyah's like taken everything that you've said as a child and you're like, I'm going to do it all. I love that.
Awesome.
With me, when I was in high school, I thought I was going to go into social services, but that didn't come until like much later. I actually went into paralegal studies first. And then with me, the thing is, I had an accident like right in my final year. So it's like the thing is I actually graduated in October instead of June that year. And it took me a while to get employment. So when I did, so it was mostly the volunteer work, it was community work that actually got me to where I am. And after that, I like 1 month before I turned 30, I did my postgraduate, and now I'm doing community services. So now I'm doing postgraduate in there. So that's how it happened. But it's like everything kind of evolves in there all around. It's like there's a legal perspective to it. There's this perspective, that perspective with what I do. As an entrepreneur, like I have my own thrift store. It's called Care Hangers Online Thrift Store. And what happens is like it's not on Spotify or any of those websites yet. It's still on Facebook Marketplace. Is that I try to give back as much as I can to the community, depending on the sales. So it's like right now I have a 4-month summer sale. So it's like there's like gently used kids' toys, home decor, and I'm planning to add in clothes in there as well. And it's like it's kind of like an online business for those who can't afford going to places like Value Village or Tilly's. So it's based on that. It's mostly for like newcomers, youth, or racialized communities for them.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that's a really
So
amazing resource.
It
Thank
is.
you.
I was gonna ask, what got you and like what inspired you to start an online thrift store?
Well, what got me to start an online thrift store is that I like often people are shopping on Amazon and eBay, and I guess ST. I guess that's like one of the sites. But it's like what got me into starting into my own thrift store is because I have a passion for shopping. So it's like besides eBay and that, I think we need like stores that have more affordable pricing, because if you see even like I guess like if it's for like a decor, it comes in like $60. So you need something that's definitely around like 20 or something. But the shipping is not too much. So something like that. So it was based on affordability, it was based on need. That's why I started.
Awesome.
Thank
That's
you.
Really cool.
I mean, I can't gloss over the fact that you did a stand-up comedy show virtually. I think that's so amazing. I've always loved watching comedy, but I also think it's super intimidating. I could never do it myself, so amazing work on that. How did you start doing that? Why did you get into the world of comedy? Because it's kind of a niche and it's hard to sustain.
Well, I haven't gotten there fully yet. Like I'm still in the beginning for as a stand-up comedian. So what got me into it is like it starts from like the time when I was in grade 8. So that was like back in 2006. So my teacher, she had mentioned that for stand-up comedy, like there's a place called Second City that people go for training. So when I got older, I was like that I want to give this a try. I want to see like how I would go in this, like I do my show, I do this, I do all these things, but I want to try something new. So then I was like, okay, so there was this training going on. There was an ad for stand-up comedy one from Second City in 2022, and that luckily I managed to sign up. And from there, I actually competed in a live. That was a live competition. That was Flower City Slam Poetry Competition 2022. And that actually started at the time of when I started the class of stand-up comedy. So I was able to do my first live poetry competition from that time when I started. And eventually then I started doing more open mics that were virtually, because there is a Facebook group called Displaced Comedians, and you can find tons of virtual like stand-up shows on open mics on there. So that's what I did. And what got me into my paid one is because I kept on doing a few of them, and suddenly there was this one called, I think it's called Adley Funny Productions or something. I forgot the exact name of it. So they were actually doing it that, okay, you have to book 1 month ahead. And surprisingly, it was going to be on Smart TV. So I was like, okay, so I didn't know I signed up for one that says it's going to be on Smart TV. So when I actually did mine, my first paid gig is like the next day I got like $25 like right in my account. I was like, okay, that was surprising. I didn't know I could get my first paid one that quickly, because most people would tell me that no, that you can't get it that quickly, but really it's not. It was actually that easy. It's gonna find the right place, the right production house to go to. And then now with stand-up comedy and poetry, because I also do like I guess like poetry and spoken word. I don't know if it's the same thing or not. So there's a few calls going on in Celebration Square and a few around Mississauga and Brampton. So I'm hoping to do a live poetry performance and comedy sometime soon in the summer. But it's like it was actually, the thing is, it started from grade 8, and that's what got me in. And then when I saw like, okay, we were still like on lockdown, I'm like, I have to take this course. I want to see what I can do with stand-up comedy. That's how I began.
That's so cool. That is definitely something that it takes a special person to be a stand-up comedian. I mean, it's one to like public speak or to do poetry, but especially stand-up comedy, it's all about timing and content. And I think if you are able to do that and make people laugh and enjoy it, that's awesome.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think everyone should give it a try to stand-up comedy. Like, it seems like, okay, that you have to be at a certain way, but when you actually like take the class and take the training, you feel like if you're just doing another performance. Like, that's how easy it is. But it's like the way how like I was told in stand-up comedy, like the way how I was taught with my teacher from Second City, was that it's like, how you do an essay and you have like the beginning, middle, and end. That's exactly how stand-up comedy is. When you do stand-up comedy performance, it's like you have to give a tagline, you have to give, there's like different words for it, but it's the same thing as an essay. And I kept on using that format, and I just happened to get my first paid gig, and I was like surprised. I'm like, okay, I never knew I was good at it. I guess I can do this further. So it's like I'm hoping to see what summer has for me when it comes to STEM.
That's so cool.
It's one of those things you never know you're good at until you kind of launch yourself into it. So that takes a lot of courage. So good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I remember like I was being told that okay, maybe I can't, like, you know, maybe it's not gonna help me. But it's like when I actually did get my paid gig, my brother's like, you know what? In my opinion, stick to doing stand-up comedy. That is actually gonna work for you. So I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. And like now, like he recently got married, so it's like my brother and his sister and my sister-in-law where they are in Mississauga. So I was like, you know what? There's a few stand-up comedy opportunities. I might come there. So it's like, okay, then he's like, you know what? We'll watch. I'm like, yeah, feel free to. So that's how I'm continuing with that.
You're gonna have your own Netflix special one day, and Liz and I are gonna be like, "Yep, we saw it here first."
Yep.
But that's exceptional to get a Netflix show. But it's like, yeah, but I'll see where it goes. Like how long I can go and I can continue with stand comedy. Like I haven't, like I've done like a few virtual ones, but I'm aiming to do at least one or two in person.
Yeah. Do you think your skills that you would learn from even like the classes that you took, would they help you in pageantry in any way? Or like in the interview process even, you could maybe feel more comfortable with connecting with people, do you think? Or how do you
I think it can, because it's like, it's kind of like public speaking in a way. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like when you are in pageants, like you do also have to deal with social media engagement, and I think it's like, it helps you with interviews in that sense, because it's like, you know, there's a way how to, it can actually help you relax. So it's kind of like mediation in a kind of way. So actually the thing is with me, when I first did my very first virtual pageant, that was Miss Queen Canada 2021, I believe, the personality pageants, I didn't know a single thing about pageants at the time. So it's like I actually got better at it from doing different pageants, and that's how it helped me.
That's awesome. And I know you mentioned earlier that if you could eventually, if the timing was right, do an in-person pageant. So if you could, what pageant do you think that would be?
I would think it would be Canada United World. Like I've been like watching the one that they had for this year and for last year, and it's amazing, like, you know, how it is and how it is every year. So it's like I would love to do that, but the only thing is I don't drive, so I don't know who's gonna take me to London, Ontario every single time for the Elizabeth Noel fashion show or any of the events. But it's like I would love to do that.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it's a fabulous pageant. I can speak firsthand, not as a competitor, but I've been a sponsor for the past 2 years, and it's just really well run, and it's just a good time. So yeah, definitely highly recommend. I also live in London, Ontario, so I understand the struggles of getting here. I do recommend the train. That is your best friend when it comes to traveling via in Ontario. Yeah, so I guess, what is your favorite area of competition, or what areas of competition is there in your virtual pageant that you competed in to receive the title you have right now?
I would say definitely the interview. Like I know it's kind of hard to say like how's the interview, but that's actually really helped me, because my interview skills, like if you see me like about more than 10 years ago, I couldn't, like I got rejected so many times from jobs, and I got rejected so many times from so many other places. So it's like when I started doing pageants and there was interview, like my first one, I was really nervous. But when I did second time, it actually helped me get to the positions where I am now. So it really improved my interview skills. And that's what I say to everyone. It's like, you know, like it's the same thing as job interviews, but it really helps you in a long way in your professional life or in anything else. So that's what's really helped me. The other thing I like is a live Q&A, because the thing is, like I had to do a few for, I think, personality pageants. It was like a live Q&A I had to do. And I think it was like one other one I've done, and it was like, it felt like a show, and it was like 1 minute, but it was like, it went really quick, but like the feeling you get after, like it was like so much excitement in there. It's like, oh, so okay, if you were to do one thing, what would you do? And I really enjoy that. So definitely those two things, like I enjoy the most pageants.
Totally.
That's awesome. I'm gonna jump to Janice because she's got a few comments in the chats. Going back to your thrift shop, your virtual thrift shop, she says, I love that you are paying attention to racialized communities and newcomers to Canada. And when you were talking about your comedy skits, she says, "Where can we find your set? It sounds good."
Mm-hmm.
So you can find my comedy sets on Hunyah Travel's YouTube channel. And yeah, right now it's there, but it depends on whichever opportunity I get next. And if you see it airing on a TV show, then like that would be good.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I was told like it's supposed to be on Roku TV in sometime in the summer, but the production manager like he hasn't gotten back to me on that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like so it's Hunyah Travels. You could find me, and you could find me on TikTok, Instagram, any social media handles. Like I'm on it, and that's I think like that's what comes in as being a YouTuber or content creator, that you have to be social media all the time. So I am all the time on social media, so you could find me there.
Love that. We are also always on social media. But speaking of, so it looks like we are already at the halfway point.
Wow.
Which is crazy to think how fast this hour is going by. But Hunyah, you are a talk show host, a beauty queen, a chef, a comedian, an entrepreneur. So with all of the things that you are, what would your top 5 pageant tips be for everyone watching us today?
With me, I would say is definitely go into a pageant, whether it's virtual, whether it's live, definitely go into it. I highly recommend it because it just changes your life. And the others, my second tip is that I remember being told in Miss Personality pageants that once you're a title holder, you're a public figure. So I would say take that advice very seriously, because people do look up to you, and I've noticed that as a title holder that people do come. So you have to make sure that you know how to meet people, you have to talk, and you know how to engage with the community. My third advice is interview isn't that hard as it looks like. It's just like a job interview, but you could see yourself improving from there. So definitely, take the interview, the pageant interview as an advantage to work on your interview skills. Fourth is that my fourth one, I would say that whichever title you have, make sure you use it, carry it and take it, don't take advantage of it, and use it to your best, because you want to make sure that you have a good reputation and a good gesture on people. So that's also something, because as a title holder you have responsibility. So it's the thing is how is for Marvel that there's some quotation that once you're, I think, Spider-Man, then you have responsibility. It's the same thing with the crown, that once you have a crown task, you have the responsibility, something like that. So definitely take that seriously. And my fifth advice is to enjoy. So you want to make sure you enjoy pageants, you get to network, you get to make friends, because through pageants, I've gotten to know so many amazing women, so many amazing directors. So it's been it's really great for networking, for getting to know, for having social circles. So some of the amazing women that I got to know there, I know they'll be at the Canadian National Miss, so I can't wait to meet all of them. I can't wait to meet you too. So I think it's really good. And thing is, I would say just enjoy. That's awesome. My last.
Mm-hmm.
That's
always a good
amazing tips. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we don't hear that often. Enjoy.
It's so simple, but so important. Because why, I think that's the core reason why anyone does a pageant, is just to have fun, have a new experience, and learn a bit about themselves. And you got to enjoy that. Everyone spends a lot of money, a lot of time. So yeah, that's a really good tip.
Yeah, and definitely don't come with the approach that you have to win. Even if you don't win, that's totally fine. My very first one I did, I was nowhere placed. So when I got to do more and more, I got different placements. So you have to have a stepping stone to start with. And then the first one, you can't expect that you could win right away, but it's it takes time, but you eventually get there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people have to, like you said, work a lot for different, for many years. Some people worked, their whole pageant career without a title, but it's still valuable to them, and they still keep coming back because of, it doesn't even matter if they don't win. It's the experiences that they're learning and growing from. So yeah, that's a really good point. Through your pageant experiences, have you had any, specific memories or enjoyable moments that come to mind when you think about pageants in your journey?
Yeah, actually, my first in-person appearance I did last year. So actually, not one, I did two. So one was at the local author showcase. That was Brampton Local Author Showcase. That was in Brampton downtown. So that one, that was my first one, and it was really good because people were asking me, okay, so we want to join it too. Like, how could we join? And some mothers were like, my daughter wants to join it, but I don't know where to go to, and how does this work, and how does that work? So I was advising them. The second one actually changed my life, and at first I thought, okay, that was totally changed your life, but I didn't know how. So I was actually a part of this event that was to do with this something to do with world record or something. It was a Celebration Square, and I was actually one of the people who were handing out on the Celebration Square stage, handing out the certificates to different MPs and sponsors. So that actually eventually I felt it like a change, because I never thought I could be on Celebration Square stage. But I've seen, like, mostly if you're a person like that, you mostly dream about going on, like the Nathan Phillips Square or this stage or that stage. So I was on it, and it was like, it just changed my life from there. I'm like, I guess, like, it takes some time, but it really transformed you. Like the way how I believe Maria Gerlando, the one who's the pageant girl, like, I've also taken her trainings as well. So she also says that it changed your life, and it truly does. Like, I agree. So that's the one memory I have, that I feel like that pageantry is like, it's more than just winning. It's a lot more than just that. There's so much in there, so much opportunities, so much in there overall. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to check, because I was like, I don't know if you can hear me.
No, you're good.
No, I think it's great that you had all these amazing opportunities, and just I'm originally from Mississauga, so Celebration Square is huge, and the fact that you're able to go there and the people So for those who don't know what Celebration Square is, it is like it's like City Hall or like Nathan Phillips Square of Mississauga, essentially, but people from all over Peel come there, and they have the biggest, I think, the best celebrations.
They have,
I think
like,
that's awesome.
Is coming right now too, because with me, it's like my brother is there, so he's like, I'm actually like messaging him every single time. I'm like, you have this event coming, I might come over there, because I can understand, right? If you live in Mississauga, then, because I used to live in Malton, so it's like an hour away from Square One, so I would go there a lot. But it's like they have so many things there, and I think, like, overall across, like, Canada, there's like so many festivals, so many events, like that's in the summer.
They do. They definitely do. So let's talk a little bit about your cooking, because you mentioned that you're a chef. You like to cook. You mentioned that your YouTube channel had a lot about you cooking and trying different things. So what was your, I guess, specialty? What kind of food did you cook, and what's your favorite dish to make?
Well, my favorite dish is kind of actually hard to decide, because I have like a lot of dishes that I like. So what got me into cooking is because when I started Hunyah Travels, I actually started it 1 year before COVID lockdown. So that's how it was. And I thought I was gonna travel and I was gonna do videos, but like I couldn't do that like until like 2021, until I went to LA and then to Calgary. That's when I did my travel videos. I couldn't do it before that. It was mostly like me doing like I actually started writing, and then I started doing like live stream, and then I got into doing YouTube videos. So I actually started like making these jalapeno cheese like spring rolls or something like that. That was my first recipe I did. And then I did falafel. So that was like it was, I believe it was like fava bean falafel. So that was my second recipe, because I love Middle Eastern food. At the same time, like I also love like different cuisines. And the thing is, I like to invent my own recipes. That's also something that I do on my YouTube as well, because I like to invent recipes as well too. I don't like to stick to just a regular one. I like to give it my own twist. So it's like I've done like different types, and then I've done like different types of chicken wing recipes as well, and I also do like other kind of ones. So that's how it is. And I like to go on the wild recipes as well, so I like to give that a try. And I like to cook too, so I figured out I don't want to keep my cooking like just hidden. I want to show like, okay, this is what I do. And I've actually taken a culinary training as well over the lockdown. That was called EBM. That's from this 360 Kids organization. So that really helped me like go further with my cooking. Like I didn't end up doing a cooking competition, but like overall, like I was just using like the powdered seasoning before I would do my videos. But once I took the culinary training, I actually managed to cut the vegetables and then do the cooking, because I was afraid of doing that, because I'm not that good at cutting vegetables. But it's like that's what I do.
So I don't mind jumping in. Hunyah, I think you're video is
Oh,
frozen.
okay.
So if you want to do what we did earlier where you log off and then come back on, Liz and I will bring you back in here.
Yeah. Hold on, I'll do that.
Thank you. So
Technical
well,
difficulties.
it happens. And I mean,
It always
if it's not
does.
me, it's our guest. If it's not our guest, it's Liz.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janice. Janice says, sounds good. Sound is good, if that's what you're asking. Thank you.
Oh, perfect.
All right, give
Sarah,
me
you can
1
see
second. Our audience can't see you, but give me one moment, ladies and
it.
gentlemen, everyone, folks. Give me 1 second. Let me just get you back on here. And are you there? No, give it a minute. Well, while we're getting Hunyah back into our system or our program, for all of you who are watching, if you have any questions for Hunyah, if you have any questions for Liz or myself, please do not hesitate to ask them. Oh, there you are. All right, you are back on my screen. Whew.
That's good. Hi, everyone.
Hey. Back.
It looks good on YouTube, yeah.
Yes. So you are back. Welcome back. We did hear you talk about culinary and how you got into it. So that's great. I was actually going to say 360 Kids is actually an organization that I have donated to many, many times. So I think it's great that they were able to help you and teach you how to do something.
That's amazing. Because their programs are amazing. Like there was so much in there, so much information. And their programs like really help, like the way how they structured it. So that's a coincidence that you actually donated to 360 Kids organization.
Yeah, so for the past 2 years, I've been doing my annual sponsor backpack drive, and I've actually donated both times to 360 Kids, and it is coming back this year, so stay tuned to all those who are interested. But no, I think it's amazing what they do. I've actually had the opportunity to go to their office and just to see all the things that they do. I remember we walked into the office to drop off backpacks, and there was like just random mattresses, and we're like, what are these mattresses for? And they actually donate all of them to youth who need them, or even youth on the streets. They provide them with so many different things. So I think it's great that you're able to work with them. I'm not sure if you are frozen, Hunyah. Oh no, you just weren't moving. You just weren't moving. Okay.
So still.
I was like, is she blinking? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm here.
Amazing.
Jana says audio and visual is good for all.
Because it's like they have this culinary program, right? And I was like, I was doing my videos too, and it's like, I have a passion for cooking, but it's like, okay, I'd rather take a training and then get better at it. So that's why I went with the motive of like learning to get better, and it actually like really helped me. Like I was able to cut vegetables, which I was actually afraid of, because when I cut vegetables, it's like it's terrible. So it's like now at least I can mince the vegetables, and
wow.
I managed to cook like traditional recipes, so South Asian recipes, because I'm Pakistani, right? So Pakistani dishes. It's like there's like a rice dish called biryani. It's kind of like I don't know like how to say it, but it's like in different cultures, like different kind of variations of the same recipe. So it's like I know for Spain they have a dish similar to it's like paella. It's kind of like that. That's what biryani is. So I learned how to make that, and then I learned how to do a few traditional recipes because that program, and I managed to actually do desserts. And with me, like I haven't used oven that much in my recipe videos. I usually use the air fryer because I feel like air fryer is more convenient.
Yep,
totally. Oven, like it takes longer.
No, I totally agree. I mean, I for one do not cut. My vegetables are always a different size. You can ask my husband. If I were to make a stir fry, they are all different shapes and sizes. But I think that's great that you're able to learn how to do that. And I love biryani. I love food. I'm hungry.
Me too. Yeah, I think we all have that's a common factor, right? It's like it can't be just one cuisine. It has to be lots. Like with me, it's like it's mostly Middle Eastern, but it's like if I had the option to try Italian food or some other type of food, like I would definitely try it. So like definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk a bit more about your platform. I know you mentioned it more at the beginning. Can you tell us what it is, what inspired you to do it, and how you kind of promote it in your, I bet, social media as you're a content creator?
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that my platform is mental health awareness, and that is because while growing up, I had self-esteem issues, so I would actually go and see a psychiatrist myself. So I've actually been, because I got bullied a lot as a child. That's the thing. It's like now it's still there, but it's like in a different way. But it's like so the thing is, there's often a thing with mental health where often people say that okay, mental health means crazy, but really it doesn't. It just means that you need, I think the way I see it, it needs, is more about anxiety. It's more about these little things when they're taking into a perspective that's actually worse than it sounds. So that's where it came in. And as a content creator, most pageant queens I've actually connected with, I've talked with, they're like, yeah, we feel like we're also going through something related to mental health, and I would like to speak to it. So that's where the show actually came in. Like it was an idea at first, but when I have there's like more people talking about it, then I guess it's good to address it through a show. So that's where my platform came in.
Awesome. Well, I first off, thank you for being very open and telling us a little bit about your experience. Bullying is not okay, and doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult, regardless of the form or what people do or say, it's not okay. So first off, thank you for opening up and being honest with us. And I'm sorry that this is something that you've gone through and are going through. And I hope that you know that no matter what people say, it's all a lie.
Yeah, okay? True. That's the
don't
thing.
Worry.
Yeah,
you're just jealous.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's actually what me and my grandma's sister, because she's also like, with her, she's a dementia patient, but it's like she understands these kind of things. So she's telling me, she's like, you know what, if people are saying to you that or this or whatever you do now, it's just jealousy. That was I'm like, yeah, it's just that's why they want to bring in negativity somehow. So it's like, but I think as a school age kids, people don't notice that at that age, but it's when you get older, you just take it as no, it's just negative.
And the fact that people are doing that now while they are older is as a kid, it's one thing, but as an adult, you know better.
True.
That's not okay.
And it's okay. Why are you behaving so immaturely just because one thing is good and the other thing is you can't accept that. That's what comes to.
Yeah, and I feel like it's often comes from a place of just not understanding, or people. I know a lot of people, especially in the pageant world, say that they don't get positive feedback when they mention that they're a pageant queen, or the stereotypes that are associated with it. And I think it just
that's happened with me.
Yeah, exactly. It's unfortunately a common story for a lot of us, but it's just people don't know what it is. People think it's one thing and they have this story in their head, but
it's like a negative stereotype, but it's not. It's like with me, it's the thing is my family's supportive. That's why whenever I talk about pageants, it's totally fine with any of my relatives, my mom and dad, it's totally fine. But it's with other people I know, even with people who like family friends at a point and different other colleagues and all this and that, they approach it in such a negative way, but it's they're just gonna keep finding ways how to use that just to degrade you, just because you say pageant when it's not. That's what happens. I can totally relate to it. Yeah,
it's very unfortunate. I think the more we share about it on social media and shows like this show, we can share more about it and people can understand why we're walking around with these crowns and sashes on. It's not just the glitz and glamour as we know, but
true. It's community service. It's it's giving back to the community. It's putting your own effort in there, and it's more than that. But people don't understand that. That's the thing.
Totally.
True.
Well, Hunyah, I mean, it's been a crazy hour. You shared so much of your story and who you are, and we are so grateful that you reached out and have been so patient on getting onto the show, and for continuing to watch and support the show. Thank you. But before we wrap things up, do you have any last messages or anything you'd like to talk about and share with our viewers?
I would say so Miss Exquisite Global United 2023 is coming up. And currently we're looking for delegates, and I'm also the director for Miss Exquisite Canada as well for 2023, and we're looking for delegates in the Miss MS Miss, Mrs. and Classic Miss. That is like so there's like different age groups, and definitely, and I would definitely want to see Team Canada at Miss Exquisite Global United 2023, and it is virtual, and you do represent Canada there virtually. So last day to sign up is August 31st 2023, so make sure you sign up, and it's an amazing opportunity, and and it changes your life like the way how it's changed mine. So I definitely encourage everyone to check out Miss Exquisite Global United, and definitely if you want to connect with me or anything, just you can find me on Facebook or on social media. You can just find me through the name of Hunyah Travels. Thank you.
Perfect.
Amazing. So before we wrap up, so you mentioned that you are the director. What are some things? What are the requirements? What are the areas of competition for this virtual pageant?
Well, for this virtual pageant, there is like I believe a 500 word or I think like 2 paragraphs, I believe. Like something like an essay you have to do. So it's like a personality photo and an essay you have to write in there that why you want to become a title holder and what does a title holder mean to you. Then you have I think that is like about 10% or 20%. I can't remember what the percentage of that. Then there is interview that is the major part, that is about 50%. Then there is a community service presentation you have to do online, and that you can present in any way. When I did mine, when I was doing for Miss Exquisite Global United 2022, I did mine through a slideshow where I talked about, about the community services and about the community events I volunteered in. And then there's also an evening gown walk, which is done live on Zoom. So it's like a show that where you do have to do your introduction and everything. And there's a few breaks in there, but it's on Zoom. So it's really interesting. So I definitely would encourage everyone to try and, participate in Miss Exquisite Global United 2023.
Sounds like a great opportunity.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And to our 4th seat in the house, Janice McGregor says, that was a great interview. Thanks for sharing your opinions and perspectives. Thanks, Janice. Thank you for being here.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
It's amazing. So yeah, and definitely definitely check out Pageant Sit Down, because I've been following the episode. I know I'm on it, so I definitely want more title holders to definitely you guys reach to 200, 300, and definitely go for at least 500. So yeah, definitely check Pageant Sit Down.
Thank you.
You're available on social media, right? On all platforms as well, right? TikTok,
we are.
Instagram.
Not TikTok, but I mean, we
work on that one.
That's working on that. But so again, Hunyah, for those who are tuned in and want to follow your pageant journey, your comedy journey, your hopefully more travel vlogs, social media, all that fun stuff, where can people find you?
Well, they can find me on official Hunyah Travels, that is on YouTube, and be sure to like and subscribe for all the new videos and everything. And you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok. So I'm on all those platforms. Like the only thing is I don't update my TikTok as much, but my Instagram I'm always updating it. So everything you could see is on the official Hunyah Travels Instagram page, so it's there. And if you want to reach me personally, that's Hunyah 2022. And for the Hunyah show itself, there is a separate Instagram page for that, so definitely check that out.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. And Liz, if people wanted to follow you and your pageant journey, which you are now on again, can you tell us where people can find you, all that fun stuff?
Absolutely. You guys are definitely going to want to follow all my things because I have a lot going on this summer, a lot of traveling. So stay tuned. The main one is my Miss Canada Captivating 2023 account. I'm competing for the national title of Miss Captivating this Labor Day weekend. So you can see where I was this past weekend shooting new headshots and coaching and all that fun jazz on that page. And you can also follow Elizabeth Marnock Artistry for pageant hair and makeup services. I'm doing more traveling. I'm leaving actually this Friday to go to Orlando to style at the North America pageant, and I'm very excited to go back to Orlando. And then if you guys want to come to Canadian National Miss, you can follow us at Canadian National Miss pageant on Instagram and on Facebook. And we have actually a deal right now for all of our tickets. If you're a title holder, so if you're watching this and you're a current title holder for any system, reach out to us and we'll happily give you a 50% off discount code for tickets to come join us at the national finals on August 27th at 4 p.m. That's a lot. Regine, how about you?
You all can find me here on this YouTube channel for more Pageant Sit Down. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And if you want more notifications or want more content, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the like or the notification bell to know when we go live, because we do go live every other week, but the date is always changing. So make sure you hit the notification bell or follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Pageant Sit Down, for more information on our guests and who are upcoming. We do have an amazing roster of pageant queens, so make sure you stay tuned. For myself, I have officially launched my pageant coaching online. So make sure you follow pageantcoaching.reginaelena on Instagram, but you can also find me on It's Regina Elena on Instagram and TikTok for everything and anything that I get myself up to, because let's be real, I do a bunch of random stuff. Hunyah, thank you again so much for joining us this evening. It has been amazing getting to speak to you, getting to know so much about who you are, and for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit with us.
I want to say thank you again for this amazing opportunity, and let me know if you ever if you'd ever need someone to come in. I'd love to do a second interview sometime soon.
Awesome, for sure.
It was amazing.
For sure.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, and to everyone who is watching. Hang on one moment. There's more chats going on. Janice McGregor says, Liz, you are going to kill it at your pageant. So excited for you. And then Uzma Aziz Irfan says, Hunyah, Mom. Yeah. Hi, Mom. Says, Hunyah, you are unstoppable. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Love that.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. And if you, again, want to follow Hunyah, make sure you check her out on social media. She's got a lot of hats that she's wearing, a lot of things going on, so make sure you follow her. And to everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Hunyah, thank you for joining us and for always supporting the Pageant Sit Down. And to everyone, we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.